Toast to Sales, baby.
Toast to Sales podcast.
You making me mad, motherfucker!
This is your Toast to Sales podcast. It's a good one. I'm your co-host, Asim Trayvonovich.
I'm your host, Jimmy Jones.
And we got a special guest today, Kendall. She got multiple titles. Kendall, tell them about yourself.
So I'm originally from Florence, Alabama, born and raised. Primarily I've been in Decatur. That's where I went to school. A graduate from Alabama A&M, graduated in 2019. I'm the CEO of the moving company, Rocket City Movers in Huntsville. We've been in business for over 2.5 years. I managed over 72 employees at one point. We moved over 800 homes so far. So we're just really trying to get back to the community and grow as a whole. So that's just a little, introduction about me.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, bro. How did you get into, how did you start your company?
Started my company by working at 2 Men in a Truck for 6 months, and most of those movers for 3.5 years. I saw that there was a huge influx in Huntsville being the number one city to move in. So I figured that, it was a huge demand to start a moving company because everybody needs it. We do service residential, commercial, and specialty moves. Also, we do interstate moves as well.
So would you say that, do you just do moving here, or what states can you go to? Where can you go?
We pretty much travel anywhere. We've been to Chicago before, Fruitland Park, Florida. We've been to Atlanta, Georgia, Nashville quite frequently. We've been to Dallas, Texas, and Houston as well. So those are the places that, we service so far. But I mean, if anybody needs any services outside of any state, we provide those as well.
So it's a lot of competition in the moving. I know it's other moving companies, so it's a lot of competition.
Yeah, so you have roughly about 15 moving companies in Huntsville. So it is a huge competition, Yeah.
How you, what's the most important thing about the moving business? Is it the quality of the work? Is it how fast you can do it? What's the most important thing?
It's really about who trusts you with their belongings. I wouldn't necessarily say the speed, because if you move too fast, you can make mistakes. It's really the quality of work. One thing that we do best, we use door jambs on the doors, roll the red carpet out to the furniture, on the floors. Meet and greet the customer, because it's all about the interaction on how you meet and greet the customer. So that's what kind of separates us to other moving companies.
So you would say that you working at the 2 Man, what is it called? 2 Man?
2 Men in a Truck and most of the movers.
So that influenced you?
So that influenced me by pretty much really just the business. I understood the business model. So once I graduated college at A&M in 2019 and I landed my first job, I figured to get my own company. I invested $5,000 in my company. We 10x that. Ever since we've been in business, we've been making 6 figures every year. So it's really a huge demand. It is hard work, the logistical side, because it's a huge turnover rate. So you just have to keep hiring and hiring people all the time. So that's the moving industry. It's a huge, it's labor intense. Right. It's not meant for everybody.
No, it's not. So do you gotta be, do y'all do a physical test? I mean, for people that's coming in, if I wanted a job, what's the process for me?
We usually give them a 3-day moving. So they'll come out to the company, they'll work 3 moves, and if they don't understand the logistics on, how to move it, we go to the next, because after 3 days, you should be physically fit.
Yeah. So they at the boot camp.
Yeah, that's true.
Move to boot camp.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Let's start from the beginning. So you said, $5,000 was your startup. When not a lot of people have that type of capital when they first started a business, or even if $5,000 all you got, was it scary? Was it putting that investment in, not knowing if you're going to succeed or fail?
Well, while I was working at the other moving companies, I've already had my clientele base. So before you get into business, make sure that you have a clientele base. You just don't go out there and just be like, oh, well, I want to start a company, because it's just not a get rich scheme type deal. So you have to have patience. I'm a big risk taker, so if I invest $5,000, I mean, either you win or you lose.
Yeah.
So it's all about risk taking. I've already kind of knew the specialty already, so I was trusted with a lot of clientele, so I figured that I wasn't gonna lose. So you know, I don't have a B plan and C plan. It's gotta work.
Right.
Or it's gotta work.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, you'd say plan B is make plan A work.
Correct.
So it's a lot of networking.
It's a lot of networking. And another thing that I would like to harp on is be uncomfortable with being comfortable.
Right.
So there's going to be a lot of things that, you know, you're just going to have to be uncomfortable with. You're going to have to go to networking events. You're going to have to meet people. You're going to have to hand out your cards. Your social media presence has to be well. You have to have great reviews. You have to be trusted. So that's one thing that I would like to, you know, tell anybody, you know, when you get into business, just make sure that you network.
Yeah.
Because as you being the CEO of the company, your ideal is to remove yourself from the business and manage on the business. But that may take 2 or 3 years because most businesses fail within 2 or 3 years and you don't see your profit until 5 years. So enjoy the process. Don't look at it as a goal that you need to hit. Enjoy the process and the journey, because if you're always goal oriented on what you need to know, on what you're trying to do, and if you're trying to be a millionaire at a certain time, you got to enjoy it, because it's not going to just get rich type scheme.
Right.
You have to wait. It's a process. Because if someone was to give you $100 to $1,000, 100 to 1,000 clients in 1 month, are you going to be able to obtain that? Are you going to have a team that you have to manage? You have to have the marketing. You have to have a sales team. You have to have a CPA, which is your certified public accounting. You have to have a lawyer. You have to have general liability, workers' comp. All that money that you have to spend is a huge overhead. So you may have a lot of moves, but you have to look at the guys that you have to pay for. And it's called the 30-30-40 rule. You pay yourself a third, you give your employees 30%, and make sure you have 40% of your business to have capital, just in case if 1 month goes bad and you don't have a lot of moves and things of that nature. So you just have to, you know, manage your money well. Never commingle funds, because you can get audited.
Explain to the people what you mean when you say that.
Commingling funds means using your personal money for your business. So you want to make sure that you don't mix that, because you can get audited by the IRS after 3 years with being in the business. So that's what commingling means. So
how did you learn all this? I mean, did it take a lot of time, a lot of research? I mean, because it seemed like you know a lot of shit about this. So how did your knowledge come about? Really just reading. I took COVID-19 as a time to, you know, separate myself and elevate and grow. So while everyone was working from home, I just was reading a lot, you know, how to start up capital, learning the ins and outs in business, learning what to do and what not to do. So I would just say, be a student to the game and never just try to think it's about you. It's more about it than you. It's about a team. It's about building a community, because if you're going to be self-centered, it's never going to work.
Now, in the moving business, you obviously need trucks. You obviously need people. When it comes to the trucks, can someone with their own truck kind of affiliate themselves with your business and work for you, or do you have to provide the truck?
We usually provide our own trucks. In order for you to, I'm going to answer your question. In order for you to lease a truck, you have to be in business for 3 years.
Okay. That's some good shit to know.
So you have to be in business for 3 years to lease a truck. You have to be in business at least 2 years to buy a truck.
And this is free information, guys. You can, he giving you free information, so take heed of that.
So what I've done was, instead of, you know, putting a down payment on my first truck, I went through AMUR financing. That's AMUR financing, where you can get heavy equipment up to $5,000 up to $300,000. So that's just a gem for you guys to know, just in case if you guys ever need to get a truck. There's no down payment, but the interest rate is kind of high. But just make sure, you know, whenever that you invest in a truck, you have your ROI, means return of investment, that you make sure that you're keeping up with your payments and you're making that payment, because once you get a truck, you have DOT insurance, which can range between $900 to $1,200, and then you have a truck note that can range through $1,000 to $200 to $2,000. So just be cognizant of that, whenever that you are financing a truck, because you have the personal guarantor it.
Right.
So just be careful of that, just in case if you don't want to come out your money with pocket, because most people that are wealthy, they never use their money. They borrow their money from the banks to create capital.
That's true.
So, yeah.
So, bro, let me ask you something. How was the process of you having to flip from being somebody employee to now you got employees? Like, how was that process?
I would say you would have to be a follower before you be a leader.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be a worker bee before you be a boss.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is you have to, change and develop your mindset, because when you hire employees, you have to vet them.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by vetting is see, what their attributes is, see what they can bring to the company, and see why they want to work for your company.
Right.
The reason being because they can make or break your company by hiring the wrong type of people. And also make sure that you exclude yourself out of the company as well. Like you create boundaries within your employees. You hire staff, HR, a sales team, and things of that nature to, create that barrier between the owner and the employees too. So you won't be accessible. Also too, the owner's opinions doesn't matter. Sometimes you actually have to, be a leader to ask your employees, hey, what are some things that we can work on within our company? Where do you see yourself in 6 months to a year?
Right.
And even if they want to be there, momentarily, at least just make sure that they, create a mark within your company, and make sure that they become a replica of you, because as you step into the CEO mindset, you have to create replicas of you, because it's not about you anymore. It's about a team. And also, I would say make sure that you write everything down, because anything in your brain that you want people to do, they're not going to think and be just like you for the company. So you have to write down job descriptions. You have to let them know these are the things that we have to have. Also, policies and procedures, make sure that you have those. You have, policies and procedures. You have handbooks. You have all these things incorporated, because, you're liable of everything. So if an employee was to come to you, they can sue you or do anything that can tarnish your business. So you just want to make sure that you create all boundaries while having employees, and you help be a leader and help develop them, because again, it's not about you. They're helping you as a company, and you're being a service to them as well. So it's about a team. It's all about team building on what you can do to help them grow as an individual.
So speaking on your employees, do you do the hiring process, or how do that?
I did in the beginning, but as you level up within the company, you have to delegate systems and delegate teams to get your HR, to get your operation manager, to vet them out to see what's good for you, because as you being the CEO, your duties is to not be in the business, it's to work on the business. It's about managing the business to, grow within the company, to get contracts, to network as much as you can. To get these guys to perform up to the standards, to keep repeating the same customers.
So, question. So because I saw you grinding on the trucks with them, at the beginning, I kind of saw your process. Do you still get on the trucks and help them from time to time, or are you kind of moving out, like you said, stepping into that CEO role to where you on the outside looking in?
That's a great question. Sometimes I do go out there, just to kind of see what the guys can work on, to give them a rapport. Because, if your operation manager and your manager, your team lead is not there, or say, for instance, that, you have a team that you don't see that's doing well, sometimes it's okay for the owner to go out there to, train the guys. Even though they may or may not know you, you still want to be, in the business as well from time to time, to show them that, hey, I'm not only working on the business, I'm also in it too, as much as you guys. So be selfless while you're a CEO or the boss of the company. So yes, sometimes I do go out there to train them to, give them a report to work on, because if some of your guys aren't out there, you also want to make sure that you always have evaluations and what some things that your employees can improve on as an individual.
Right.
Is there a certain thing you look for in somebody that wants to work for your company?
I would say work ethic and communication, because as you going in people's houses, everybody doesn't trust you to be in their house.
Right.
Communication wise, letting the customer know, how long this move is going to be. Also, making sure that you take care of their belongings, because
right.
They have sentimental value, so they may have some things from their grandmother, their grandfather, they may have passed away. So you just have to be careful and mindful and cognizant of what you're doing, and you just communicate with the customer throughout the whole entire time. So yeah, that's a great question.
So, how many contracts, would you say that you done gained since you first started?
As far as now, we don't have any contracts. We are vendors, so we will give you guys some past performance. We are Alabama A&M vendor, so we move, belongings from them. We move some things for Project XYZ. We're vendors of Lennar Homes, DSLD Homes. So it's all about networking,
right?
And to get vendors to create more clientele base.
So you would say it's not about what you know, it's about who you know.
Correct.
So I'm gonna ask you this. So you said that you hire like HR and different people to run different parts of the company. Do you have like a actual manager that, like, so if you're not there, I'm stepping in place and I'm the boss at that time?
Correct. You always want to make sure you hire a manager, because say for instance that you go out of town, or you're in meetings, you want to make sure that you outsource some things. So if your employees can't get in touch with the owner, you want to make sure that you separate those boundaries, again, like I was saying earlier, to get that manager to reach out to them to let them know what you got going on and things of that nature.
Is it hard to kind of juggle your job versus your company? Like, is that a hard road? Because I know for me, it's life period is about balance, and I'm still having trouble figuring that out. So,
great question. I would say in the beginning, I was answering all the phone calls, and you have to separate yourself. You have to create systems. So, excuse me. We have a system that's called OnQ, that we have 5 sales reps that answer the phone calls. That it's an automatic system that you go through. So that's able to help separate myself from the business, where they can't get in contact with me. They have to create the sales rep. It's okay to work a 9-to-5 job, never shun a 9-to-5 job, because in order for you to become a millionaire, you have to learn the corporate job first. It's a 9-to-5 job to level up. It may take you 3, 4, 5 years, but until you're able to step away and have faith and be a risk taker, then that's a great time to leave. I want to say, work that job for 2 or 3 years. Don't quit, whenever that you become an entrepreneur, because challenges happen. You may have a lot of clientele base for 1 to 2 months or 6 months, and then you may hit a downturn where business is not going well. So you want to make sure that you work on your personal growth. Because whenever that business does 10x and you triple your income off of your 9-to-5 job, that's when the best time to leave, to make sure that you prepare yourself to propel for your overflow within your business. I would just say that, man, like I said, just work the kinks out, hire people that can do your jobs for you. Make sure that you have a job description, because it's all about job delegating and removing yourself and things of that nature.
Right.
Yeah.
If you go back, 5 or 10 years, do you think that you would have been in this business doing what you're doing and being who you are?
Never.
Never.
I would never thought of it. Yeah.
Nah, he was slump dog. Nah, man, but no, you came a long way. We came a long way, and working. Was it hard to? I know you said you started with $5,000, but mentally, was it hard to like kind of prepare yourself? Like, damn, I'm gonna open up this company?
Yeah, it was hard. I wanted to quit every day, but it's not about quitting. It's about, it's about longevity, and what you're willingly wanting to sacrifice.
Yeah.
If you don't want to sacrifice 3 to 5 years
Right.
for you to live the lifestyle that you want to do, I wouldn't hop in it to make it as a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Hop into it to grow a community, to help yourself and to help other people by giving them a job opportunity
Right.
to do well within their life. So I would just say, don't think about the money and your goals, think about longevity.
Well.
So, you're the boss of a company now. Let's start from the beginning and explain a little bit how you kind of grew in the game as far as, you hit this point and you leveled up to the next level. I mean, what was your first job ever?
My first job ever was working at KFC. I want to say it's all about work ethic. Like I know I may be getting off topic, but I had 3 jobs in high school, 2 or 3 jobs in college. So it's all about work ethic. And to answer your question, as far as a level up, you guys may look at it on the outside end, be like, oh man, it's easy. This person is doing it easy, but you don't see the back end work on what you have to do within the company. So we started off with like maybe 3 to 4 or 5 guys within our company. We started operations in June 2020. And as we grew and progressed, it was a very frustrating and stressful job. I want to say, just make sure, as you being the owner, that you're tactful with your words, because you're still trying to learn the business and grow the business within self-development within the business. So you're growing is just as much as your employees are growing. So you don't know everything. So I would say your benchmarks and your levels that you have to do within your company is make sure, like I said, that you have lawyers, make sure that you have a CPA, which is your certified public accounting, you have a sales team, you have an HR. And the reason why you want to do that, you want to create a conglomerate that can help you out on things that you don't know how to do, because you may know a little bit about it, but you want to hire other people that have the expertise that can help grow your business, because you don't always want to be a one-man show. It's about a team, and you want to make sure it's about a team individual, because if there's just some things that you don't know how to do, then your business can plummet, it can fail. So you want to make sure that you do that. I saw the significant difference on however many moves that we had, because I was answering the phone calls, I was booking the leads, I was sending the people the terms.
You was hands-on type shit.
I was hands-on within the business for like a year to a year and a half. So just know, if you get in the business, don't think that it's just, I'm gonna get rich type scheme, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna go good, great, because no one knows your business
like you.
So you have to create those replicas, because there are going to be some challenges. There are going to be some growing pains. That's a part of it. So you just want to make sure that you do that, as growing within the company, because it's hard. There's going to be some times that you want to quit, give up. I want to quit every month. But hey, you can't quit on the company if you're feeding other families, because it's not about you. It's about how you can grow as a community and grow as a self-employed person, and create a positive culture, and make sure that that you have a great culture and everyone knows your vision, and everyone knows the same battle rhythm that you want to be, because if they don't know your vision, if you don't set goals, if you don't know your company, your employees are not going to know your company. As far as competition wise, I don't look at myself as far as competition, because you have to stay in your own lane, because when you look at other competition, that's where your company is going to go down. So as far as competition, I just make sure that we create quality work, we network, because everybody business model is different, because if you look at different competition, these people already been in business for 4 or 5, 10 years. They already may have the capital, and you trying to be a mom and pop shop, trying to change it into a corporation, you have to compete with other people. You have to, create ads, SEOs for your website, Google reviews, make sure that, you're generating leads as far as like emails, like once you get done with the clientele, sending them reviews on Google or their email address and things of that nature to create, that traffic and create that trusting with, you moving their belongings. So you want to make sure that you do that, with other competitors as well. So yeah.
Let me ask you this. So you say you started off with about 3-4 guys. When you first started off, were those 3-4 guys like friends, family, or did you just call some dudes up like, look, I'm gonna pay you this? Like, how did the first couple people start off? How'd that work?
Some of the guys had worked at other moving companies before, so I paid them more than other moving companies because I knew that, that we were gonna be busy. I had trust within them. There was a lot of, talking on how I was going to create a moving company. We already have a clientele base. So it was guys that had experience. And, there was guys that didn't have experience where I trained the guys that did have experience to train those people to get experience as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So did you have like somebody like, like an OG to kind of teach you the game before you got in, or you just jumped in head first and learned everything on your own?
Jumped in head first.
Yeah.
You got to be a dog.
Yeah.
Would you say that's the best way to do it?
I want to say you have to have a mentor. Make sure you have a mentor, somebody that you can talk to. Because if you do it by yourself, you're going to make mistakes. And make sure that you have people that can, have purpose in your life. And, I would say make sure that you have people that can uplift you and, help you grow and encourage you, because there are going to be some times where you're going to feel discouraged. And you're going to feel lonely because that's just a part of the journey. Everybody's not going to know entrepreneurship. They don't know the growing pains. They don't know what to go through from time to time. So you're going to feel like you're on your own island from time to time. So just be prepared for that. I want to say just make sure that you create boundaries and create peace, because you don't want to overwork yourself and you get burnt out.
Yeah.
So, that's a very important piece.
Yeah.
How many hours do you think when starting that business, how many hours do you have to work a day? And how many days a week would you say? Or you personally, would you put it?
Countless days, sleepless nights.
Yeah.
So I can't really answer that question, but it's just a lot of work. You're going to have to sacrifice some weekends. You're going to have to sacrifice months, years to get where you need to be. So I want to say, oh my goodness. A lot of hours. A lot.
Yeah. So, and you got to kind of grow that, be the best version of who you are in that field. Wow. You mentioned something about mistakes. What kind of mistakes did you may have made, or dodged the bullet on, and how do you learn from mistakes?
You learn mistakes from customer reviews on knowing what to do the next customer, because everyone is not going to like your business. You can do 99 things correct, but one thing they just may not like. So just be prepared for that, Make sure that, you follow up with customers, tell them, hey, we apologize about your services. What can we do to better service you? You just make sure that you want to have that customer report, because you are going to make mistakes. We have damage. We have broke some things. We had a lot of occurrences that had happened within, companies and things of that nature. So if you're not making mistakes, you're not
learning. Yeah. So speaking on that, what's one of the craziest moments that you done had in that business, like as far as at a customer house, one of your employees call you like, boss, I fucked up, I did this, you know what I mean? Like, what's one of the craziest stories you can tell us that you didn't experience?
Woo. We had to move to Chicago. We charged the customer $7,500 in the interstate move. It's required that you have half of your deposit before a week of, and then once we unload you, that's when we collect our remaining balance.
Correct.
They ran off with the money. So we lost $3,500. So just be mindful of that you are going to take a lot of losses. In order to be the boss, you got to take losses.
So let me ask you this. How did they run off? I mean, you had their shit, right? Or did you drop it all? I mean, how did that work? Because I would have just kept their shit and took it back to Alabama.
I mean, it's like a catch-22. You just learn and grow. Make sure that, like I said earlier, make sure you have terms and policies. Make sure you have your bill of lading. Make sure that you have all that stuff prepared just in case situations like this happen. Because you only know what you only know. You don't know what you don't know.
Correct.
So those are some challenges that that you're going to have. in business.
So like, can you get like a card put on file or something in case something like that happens?
Well, yeah, now, throughout those, instances, we do
Mm-hmm.
have cards on files. We make them sign a bill of lading and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, you don't know what you don't know in the beginning.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
going to be some trials and errors. So make sure that you have all your paperwork correct.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't know that because you're just growing as an individual.
Right.
It happens to everybody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So let's talk about a little bit about like self-improvement, mental health. You said during COVID, you had a lot of downtime, you read books, stuff like that. I mean, what kind of books do you read, and what are some things you do to kind of keep yourself in shape mentally and physically?
I work out 3 or 4 times out of the week.
Mm-hmm.
As a CEO and the owner of the company, you want to make sure that you protect your mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Reason being, because you can be burnt out a lot. There's self-improvement. Most CEOs read a book once a month, so you have to do reading.
Mm-hmm.
What was your other question?
Just mental health. What kind of books do you read? As far as like what kind of topics of the books do you read? You got finance books. You got what's your favorite book?
My favorite book is Who Moved My Cheese. Everybody needs to read that book.
So what it's about?
It's about self development, self knowing. So I don't want
Who
to talk.
moved my cheese?
Who moved my cheese? Yeah, it's a great book.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Go give me some cheese.
I want to say too about creating balance. Make sure you don't always talk about business because you can kind of annoy people always talking about business. Take your weekends as recharging.
Right.
Don't always be business goal oriented all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You have to create space, family, personal, business, and then also as being the CEO of the company, you have other people's personal problems that they have within themselves too.
Yeah.
So you have to, be more open to everyone, be kind to people, let them know, everything's gonna work out, everything's gonna be okay, because not only you are responsible for yourself, you're responsible for everybody.
Yeah.
So, just want to make sure, seek therapy. Everybody needs therapy too.
Mm-hmm.
Have a counselor, somebody
I
you can talk to.
Yeah.
At least once a
There's
week.
nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with
No.
that. Everybody needs therapy.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a person to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes your family or friends may not be there for you. So make sure like you seek counseling, on the weekends, work out, create that space, meditate, listen to meditation music.
How do you
before
meditate?
you go to bed. I listen to, 772 hertz and 528 hertz before I go to bed, the meditation music, to, get that negative frequency. Before I go to bed, make sure I work out,
You do like the or do you just sit
Nah,
there?
I do that. No, I do that.
That's why I asked. How you meditate?
Yeah.
Meditate, also, going in the sauna, hot yoga. Hot yoga is a good one
What the
too.
hell is hot yoga?
You're in like a hot room and you're doing yoga. So that's what
I need to try that shit.
Yeah. Phase 3.
Yeah.
Go to the gym.
Phase 3.
Phase 3. Yeah.
I did a sauna before. Man, it's so hard.
Yeah.
First time in there, it's hotter at the top than it is at the bottom. I'm damn near on the floor.
I ain't never did a sauna. I ain't never tried it.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Easy way to lose weight too. Throw a
I may
little-
need the sauna then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to go in the sauna about 45 minutes a day.
Barbecue. Yeah, so like I said, just make sure you create that mental space because you don't want to get burnt out. You don't want to lose your vision. You don't want to lose the company
No, that's
by
true.
Mental health. Because a lot of people can make a lot of money, but their mind and their mental health is not in the game.
And even for me, like I got burnt out a little bit. That's why I was telling you, off camera that I needed to get my stuff back up and going because I got burnt out. Because I'm answering calls, I'm trying to balance work. That's hard.
Right.
Like you said, that's the big thing you got to figure out. Once you figure out balance, then you'll be all right. That's my big thing.
Would you say you have a lot of friends? Everybody has a lot of associates. Do you say you got a lot of friends?
Nah,
No.
you're gonna lose friends as you level up and grow.
Absolutely.
They're not gonna understand
No,
you.
they're not. They're not.
Yeah.
And I love to ask this question. The friends that you did have, like, they didn't. I know you said that they won't understand you, but like when you grow in business, like it's their mindset is different. So you would say that did you gain more friends, like business friends, or you know what I'm saying?
I get more business friends than personal friends because your personal friends aren't going to understand you.
Mm-hmm.
You got to separate yourself from the employees and the owner.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone doesn't have an entrepreneur mindset,
Mm-hmm.
and it's fine. It's okay to be friends within, your friends that you had for a long time.
Right.
Make sure you create that barrier. Like, hang with them when it's, just being friends, being cool, because they may not understand you, when you talk about business. So make sure that you don't bleed that on the other people because they're not in that, so they're not able to understand.
Yeah. Conversations change. Huh?
Conversations change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also too, to harp on that mental space. Make sure that you're healthy too, because you can have all this money, but if you're not healthy, if your mind's not right, you're not going to be able to grow as an individual.
And you talk about everything, right? Like diet. That's what you mean when you say healthy. Like watch the food you eat.
Watch the drink. Watch the food that you eat. Drink, things of that nature, because you always want to make sure that you don't have your mind is fogged up all the time. Make sure you're not going out getting drunk, things of that nature. Make sure that you have a free mind. Yeah. So
you go out often or no?
Not really.
Not really.
Yeah, I don't go out too often, really.
Yeah. What's your favorite spot to hit?
I want to say Spanish food. Las Trajas.
Ooh.
Yeah. What you get from there?
Angel's Plate and the
I like the little Angel's Plate too.
You do?
Yeah, I like the little Angel's Plate.
And the quesadilla Hawaiian.
Yeah, I like the little Angel's. What's your favorite drink?
Ooh, I got a lot of favorite drinks. I want to say, that tequila.
Yup. Tequila.
I don't know tequila guy.
He make a face every time.
I ain't a tequila guy. I like that whiskey.
Whiskey.
Yeah.
That's funny. How important is it to not go out and do stuff when you're in the middle of growing a business? I mean, do you have to sometimes just to kind of take the edge off, or?
I think that's kind of that's when the balance come in.
Correct.
You know what I mean? You still gotta live life.
Still gotta live life.
At the end of the day, you know what I mean?
The titleship doesn't mean anything. You still can party, have friends, things of that nature.
Yeah.
But just make sure that you're aware of your surroundings because you're being watched.
Yeah. You're a public figure now.
You're a public figure. So you gotta be mindful of what you do, what you post, and what type of individual you are because that can affect your business. So as far as major lifestyle that changed as a boss, I stopped going out. You gotta stop going out. You gotta sacrifice at least a year, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Like you cannot go out all the time.
Yeah.
It's all about self-development growth because you have bills to pay.
Yeah.
You got
a lot of
employees.
bills.
A lot of them. So you have to change in your
Who
mind.
my cheese?
Yeah, who my cheese? read that book. Yeah.
When you start making a little bit of cheese, when is the right time to splurge a little bit? Is there ever a right time? You know what I mean? You find big purchase, whether it's a chain, a car, a new apartment, a house.
I live my life modest.
Yeah.
I want to say yes. You have to treat yourself from time to time. Maybe like once or twice a year.
Yeah.
What was the other question?
No, just when the right time.
Just when the right
buy,
time is.
to
I
splurge
mean, or
on
even a
yourself.
vacation. You take an expensive vacation. I mean, you're in the middle of growing a business.
You doing good, things going good. When is the right time to say, you know what, I'm gonna treat myself?
I feel like everyone is different. So just really whenever that you feel the need to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely have to take a vacation.
Because you need to get away sometimes.
Yeah, you got to get away.
Yeah.
My first treat. Spent about 2 or 3 racks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who you spent 2 or 3 racks on?
I don't think that. I don't think that'll be right to sell the podcast.
Yeah. 18 and older.
Yeah, 18 and older. Nah, 21 and older.
Mm-hmm.
That's called a treat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Now, I know you know what I'm saying, that you're a busy guy, and when do you find time for your family?
Like 2 or 3 times out of the week.
Yeah.
Downtime.
Yeah. Downtime. You work a lot from home?
I don't. We go to back to work every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so y'all got an office, or where do you work out for your company? Why?
Since we have a moving company, everything can kind of be remote. We don't need an overhead or brick and mortar place because everything is kind of virtual.
Yeah.
We do have a yard where we meet up at to get the guys, the truck. So we don't have a brick and mortar. Yeah.
So give the people some words of wisdom. Any type of knowledge and game, motivation, some things that helped you out. I mean, some things you could say that might help somebody.
I want to say believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't listen to the outsiders. Sometimes whenever you get into business, some things that people project on your life, you can't take it personal.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that you listen to yourself, because it's not everyone's journey. It's not their company. They're not going to understand you as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay, if you're lonely from time to time, just make sure that you stay encouraged. Make sure when you get into business, don't quit. Look at it as why you did it.
Right.
And what is your end goal, and what is it that you want out of the company. You know, use that company too as a vehicle to get into other assets, because sometimes you have to pivot. Sometimes that business not necessarily can fail, but sometimes you grow outside of companies that you built up as well. So just make sure that you pivot and use that as a vehicle and use it as self-development and growth. And it's okay to work a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
Don't always think that entrepreneurship is for you, because it is not for everyone. So that is okay. Most entrepreneurs, they had a 9-to-5 job to get where they're at, because you want to use that vehicle for cash flow to fund that 9-to-5 job. So I don't shun it. It's great. It's done me great just so far. So so just be mindful, encourage them, and make sure that people that you're around are positive and people that think like-minded as well. So if you don't have that around you, change your circle. Make sure that you're being around people that are making more money than you. Make sure that you're being around people where you want to see yourself at, because they can give you motivation, they can give you some gems, they can give you some things that can work within your company as well.
Right. And before we get out of here, self-reflect on your business. Tell the people how they can reach you, and just in case they need to have some shit moved.
You can reach us at 256-337-6888. You're probably going to get directed to one of our sales reps. So just make sure if you need to speak to me, they'll give you our email and number. I can feel free to reach out to you from time to time. I kind of separate myself from that, people. As being a CEO and all, because sometimes you're not just able to ever just talk to the CEO and owner of the company.
And make sure y'all go like, comment, and subscribe. We are doing a giveaway on March 5th. We're giving away a vehicle. So don't be crazy and not do those simple things.
It's free.
You could win. It's fucking free.
Free 99.
So just go like, comment, subscribe, and bro, it's good having you, man.
Oh yeah, thanks.
And appreciate you coming on. And we're gonna toast our way on out of here.
You making me mad, motherfucker!
I don't have a lotion filter. I can't help you with that. I can't help you with that.
Get up.
They got a restroom in the front, and lobby. You can walk in the front. Is the front of the apartment complex?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can use my bathroom.
I was thinking the same time.